Very good morning, students. Welcome back to the third session. In a previous session, we have discussed about various evolutions of computers. Let us discuss today's session with the generations of computers. Now, let us see the generations of computers. What is that generations? Generation in a computer terminology is a change in technology. The generation in a computer terminology is a change in technology. A computer is being used. Initially, the generation term was used to distinguish between the varying hardware technology. Nowadays, a generation includes both hardware and the software, which together make up an entire computer system. There are five computer generation now till date. Each generation has been discussed in detail along with the time period and characteristics in the following slide. Let us see the first generation. The first generation, which starts in the year of 1940 to 1956. This first generation of computer uses vacuum tubes for switching circuits and magnetic drums for memory. The generation used vacuum tubes. Vacuum tubes was used for switching circuits and magnetic drums for memory. They were large in size, occupied a lot of space and produces n number of amount of heat. They were expensive and consume large amount of electricity. Most of the time, the heat generated causes the computer to manufacture. It operated only on machine level language. It operated only on machine level language. Let us see the again key points of a first generation. The first generation of computer used vacuum tubes. What was used? The vacuum tubes for switching circuits and magnetic drums for memory. They were large in size, occupied a lot of space and produces n number of amount of heat. They were expensive and consume large amount of electricity. Most of the time, the heat generated causes the computer to manufacture. It operates only on the machine level language. These are the key points of first generation. Let us move on to the second generation. Before moving on to the second generation, we'll see that still more points onto the first generation. How the input was being given, in the sense input was being based on punch cards, paper tapes and paper tapes, and output was printed. It solves only one problem at a time. It solves only one problem at a time. Accessing time is milliseconds. Accessing time is milliseconds. And universal automatic computer and electrical numerical integrated and computer are the first generation computing device. What are the device was there? Universal automatic computer and electrical numerical integrated and computer are the example of the first generation. Let us see the second generation. Second generation. Second generation started in the year of 1956. In the year of 1956 to 1963. The second generation of a computer used transistors. They used transistors, allowing computer to become smaller, faster, and economically efficient, and more reliable than the first generation of a computers. More reliable than first generation computers. It is used plastic card. It is used punch cards for input and printouts for the output. It used punch cards for the input and printouts for the output. Second generation of a computer uses assembly language, which allows the programmer to specify instructions in a word. To specify the instruction in a word. They also developed a high-level programming language were also being developed at this time, such as a earlier version as a COBOL and Fortran. Memory storage used was a magnetic core technology, and the accessing speed is also into the microsecond. will come again the key points of a second generation. The second generation of computer uses transistors, allowing a computer to become smaller, faster, economically efficient, and more reliable than the first generation computers. It used punch cards for input and printouts for the output. Second generation computer uses an assembly level language which the programmer to specify instructions in a word. The high level programming language were also being developed at this time, such as the earlier version was a COBOL and the Fortran. The memory storage uses a magnetic core technology, and it also accessing speed is in nanoseconds. We shall move to the third generation. Third generation. The third generation started in the year of 1964 to 1971. In the year of 1964 to 1971, the development of integrated circuit was made used in third generation computers. They used integrated circuits in a third generation. Transistors were made smaller in size and placed into a silicon chip. What was being made? A transistors was being made smaller in size and placed into the silicon chips. The processing speed and efficiency of a computer increased. A keyboard and monitor were used as input and output devices. The computer were interfaced with the operating system, which allows to solve many problems at a time. Accessing speed is in nanosecond. Sum of LSIC and VLSIC is nothing but LSIC is large scale integrated circuit and very large scale integrated circuit were used in this generation. We'll come again to the third generation with the key points. They developed a integrated circuit was made into the third generation. Transistors were made in small in size and placed onto the silicon chip. The processing speed and efficiency of a computer increases. The processing speed and efficiency of a computer increases. Keyboard and monitors were used as input and output devices. The computer were interfaced with the operating system, which allowed to solve a many problem at a time to solve a many problem at a time. And the accessing speed also changed into a nanosecond. Some of LSIC and VLSIC were used. The expansion of LSIC is nothing but large scale integrated circuit and very large scale integrated circuit were used onto the third generation. We'll move on to the fourth generation. Fourth generation started in the year of 1971 till present. In this fourth generation, they introduced a microprocessor. Were used in fourth generation computers, as the thousands of integrated circuits were built onto a single silicon chip. The thousands of integrated circuits were built on a single silicon chips. Network technology were introduced at this time. The fourth generation computer also saw the development of GUI, the mouse and the handheld a device. The fourth generation computer also saw the development of GUI, the mouse and handheld device. Accessing speed is also changed as nano to nano, or we can also tell that picoseconds. Let us see the key points of a fourth generation again. A microprocessor were used in a fourth generation computer, as the thousands of integrated circuits were built onto the single silicon chip. Network technology were introduced at this time. Fourth generation computer also saw the development of GUI. Accessing speed is in nano or picoseconds. These are the different key points of a fourth generation. Let us see what are the things in a fifth generation. The fifth generation. Fifth generation, which started with the present and the beyond, which comes into the artificial intelligences. A fifth generation computing device based on artificial intelligences are still in a development stage. A fifth generation will be a close to the bridge, the gap between the computing and thinking. It will be a bridge that gap between computing and thinking. These are the things which comes across into the fifth generation. Before getting into the next topic, we'll just have a glance of all the generation. The first generation started in the year of 1940 to 1956. In that year, the vacuum tube was used. The second generation, which starts with 1956 to 1963, there in the second generation, transistors was introduced. The third generation, which started in the year of 1964 to 1971, where they introduced integrated circuits. And fourth generation, which has been started in the year of 1971 to present. In the fourth generation, they introduced microprocessor. The fifth generation, which is to be the present and upcoming years, and still the development, we are into the development stage of fifth generation. These are the different generations which has been into the technology of computers. After seeing the generations of computers, now we'll look into the classifications of computers. The classifications of computers, there are different types of computers available these days. The functions of each type of computer is to process the data and provide some output to the user. However, the method or a technique used by the computer to process and handle the data may be different. We can classify the computers according to the following three categories: based on operating principle, based on application, based on size and capability. We'll come again. According to the classification, we have three criteria, that is based on operating principle, based on application, based on size and capability. Once you observe the diagram of the slide, here we have a majorly divided by three categories: by type, by size, by purpose. Once you see that by type, in a by type we have three types, that is analog computers, digital computers, hybrid computers. In the second form, by size. In a by size, we have microcomputer, mini computer, mainframe computer, supercomputer. Next one, it's by purpose, that is general purpose and special purpose. Now we'll see in detail one by one. First we'll go to the by type computers, that is analog, digital and hybrid computers. Now we will see the classification based on principles of operation. Principles of operation. In that principles of operation, we are going to see that first computer, that is nothing but analog computers. Analog computers. Analog computers is a form of computers that is used continuous physical phenomena such as electrical, mechanical or in hydraulic quantities to the model the problem being solved. They operate by measuring rather than the counting. They operate by measuring rather than the counting. The computer functions by establishing similarities between similarities between two quantities that are usually expressed as voltage or a current. Usually expressed as voltage or a current. Analog computers are a powerful tool to solve the differential equation. Will come again. The important key points of analog computers are: they are operated by measuring rather than a counting. Measured rather than the counting. The computer function by establishing similarities between two quantities that are usually expressed as voltage or a current. Analog computers are a powerful tool to solve a differential engine. Now, let us see the second type, that is digital computers or digital computers. It is a computer that performs a calculation and a logical operation with a quantities represented as a digits, which represent as a digits, usually in the binary numbers. Digital computers are those that operate with information numerically or otherwise represented in a digital form. Such computer process the data into a digital values. They give the result with the accuracy and at a fast rate. On the other hand, a digital computers operates on a digital data such as numbers. It is used binary numbers system in which there are only two digits, that is zeros and ones. Each one is called as a bit. Each one is called as a bit. All the data representation will be in the series of zeros and one. Will be in the series of zeros and 1, not dependent of the time of other values. It never depends on the time of other values. Digital computers are unique. The digital computer is made for both a general purpose and a special purpose. A special purpose computer is one that is built for specific applications. The digital computer, they are operated essentially by counting. All quantities are expressed as discrete digit or a number. Our digital computers are useful for evaluating arithmetical expression and manipulating of a data. Evaluating arithmetical expression and manipulation of a data. Majority of the computers used in the world today are digital computers. We'll see the third type, which is being based on principle of operations. That is nothing but the hybrid computers. Hybrid computers, a combination of a computer, those are capable of accepting input and output in both digital and analog signal. A hybrid computer system set up offers a cost-effective method of performing a complex simulation. A hybrid computing system is a combination of desirable features of an analog and digital computers. It is mostly used for an automatic operation of complicated physical purpose and mission. Nowadays, analog to digital and digital to analog converge are used for transforming the data in suitable forms for either the type of computing. This computers again will come across a key point for a hybrid. It's a computer which combines a feature of both analog and digital system, or called as an hybrid. Hybrid computers system set up offer a cost-effective method of performing a complex simulation. It is used for automatic operation of complicated physical process and missions. For an example, in an hospital, automated in intensive care unit, an analog device might measure the patient temperature, blood pressure, and other vital signs. The measurement which are in the analog might then be converted into the numbers and supplied to a digital component in a system. These components are used to monitor the patients and sends a signal if any abnormal reading are detected. And hybrid computers are mainly used in specialized tasks. Here we have seen three major types of computers which is being based on principles of operation. Nextly, we'll see that what are the types which comes across the computer based on configurations. Here we have different types of computers based on configurations. The first computer is microcomputer. Second one is mini computer. And we have mainframe computers and supercomputers. Now we will discuss one by one. The first computer is microcomputers. Microcomputers is also called a personal computers. It was been introduced in the year of 1970. A number of processor in a microcomputer will be one or two processor. It is used by one person at a time. Example, a personal computers that we call it as a PC. A major type of personal computers are desktop computers and as well as a portable computers. Portable computers are nothing but a laptop. Will come again the major key point of a microcomputers. A microcomputer is called as a personal computers, which was being introduced in the year of 1970. A number of processor in a microcomputers will be one or two processor. It is used by one person, which is used by only one person at a time. Example, as a personal computers that we call as a PC. And major type of a personal computers are desktop computers and portable computers. We'll move on to the second type, that is mini computers. That is mini computers. Mini computers are in a medium-sized computers that are costlier and powerful than a microcomputers. The major difference between a micro and mini computer is that a mini computer is usually designed to serve for multiple users simultaneously, whereas microcomputers which is used only by a single user, but as mini computers are designed to serve a multi-users simultaneously. This type of a computers needed a less power and less cooling arrangement. It is needed a less power and less cooling arrangement. Up to 8 users can use the system simultaneously, running their own individual program. That is a major difference which we have between mini computers as well as your microcomputers. We'll come again to the mini computers. Mini computers are in a medium sized computers that are costlier and powerful than a microcomputers. Important difference are it's nothing but wherein microcomputer uses a single user, but in a mini computers the multiple user can use simultaneously. This type of computers needed very less power and less cooling arrangement. 8 users can use the system simultaneously running their own programs. That is nothing but running the different programs into a different systems at a time. We call that as a mini computers. Let us see the next computer, that is a mainframe computers. Mainframe computers were introduced in the year of 1975. It is very large in size. It is more powerful than a microcomputers, which consist of multiprocessor. It is designed to perform a multiple user at the same time. A mainframe computers can serve up to 50,000 users at the same time. 50,000 users at a same time. Typically, a mainframe computers can execute 16 million instructions per second. For an example, we have NEC 16 and DEC 10. These are the different types which comes into the mainframe computers. Will come again a major key points of mainframe computers. It was introduced in the year of 1975 and it is large in size, more powerful than the mini computers. It consists of multiple users. It is designed to perform a multi-users at the same time. A mainframe computer can serve up to 50,000 users at the same time, whereas in the previous type we was using only 8 users, whereas in mainframe computers we are going to serve a 50,000 users at the same time. If the computers which executes the 16 million instructions per second, which execute 16 million instructions per second, and we have an example of NEC 16 and DEC 10. Let us move on to the next type, supercomputers. When a supercomputer was introduced in the year of 1980s, a supercomputer is the largest and fastest and most expensive. It is largest, fastest and most expensive than any other computers. It is normally used by the large business organizations that are required extraordinary amount of computing power. Computing speed is 10 times faster than any other type of computers. These computers are capable of executing than 10,000 million instructions per second. How many instructions can be executed per second? That is 10 million instructions per second. Supercomputers is used for solving or handling a large scale numerical problem in scientific and engineering field. Here we have discussed major type which has been based on configurations are microcomputers, mini computers, mainframe computers and supercomputers. These are the types which comes across based on configurations. In today's class, we have discussed about generations of computers. In a generations, we have five generations. A first generation which has been started in the year of 1940 to 1956. A second generation which has been started in the year of 1956 to 1963. A third generation 1964 to 71. And fourth generation 1971 until present, and we have a fifth generation that is present and beyond the upcoming years. And also we have discussed about the classifications of a computers. The majorly the computers was being classified based on three types, that is type, by size, by purpose. In by type, we have an analog system, digital computers, hybrid computers. By size, we have microcomputers, mini computers, mainframe computers, and supercomputers. And by purpose, we have general purpose as well as a special purpose. These are the topics which have been covered in this session. Let us meet you into the next session. Thank you.